Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. In our top story, as we reported on Tuesday, the governing board of the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority is not waiting until June for WAPA's CEO Hugo Hodges' contract to end. On Tuesday, the board voted to let the 8-year utility chief go in a matter of a few days. News 2's April Knight has more.
Hugo Hodge is leaving WAPA by the end of the week, a few days after the WAPA board decided not to extend Hodge's contract. They held another executive session on Tuesday. The outcome, Hodge is leaving not in June when his contract was supposed to end, but by this Friday, January 29th. According to Hodge, he'll be spending the last 2 days of his tenure handing over responsibilities.
Just to make sure that everything that is on my desk has a new owner.
The initial decision to end Hodge's contract occurred last week Thursday in what was actually a tied vote. 4 members of the board, mostly officers, voted for Hodge to stay. The other 4, 3 of whom were Governor Mapp's cabinet members, voted against it. But this time, WAPA did not report who voted which way to terminate Hodge by the end of the week. Hodge reiterates that WAPA's greatest asset is its personnel and thanked them again for their hard work.
My appreciation for the dedication that the WAPA family has displayed continuously. I got nothing but love for the employees of the Water and Power Authority.
It's unclear where the authority is in the process of looking for a replacement. In the meantime, Chief Financial Officer Julio Reimer will stand in as CEO, and Hodge is confident that he can handle the job.
He'll do a good job holding it together, and I think that the transition stuff we're speaking about is Julio and I are really close, so he can call me if he has a question. He can give me a call, and I'll help him any way I can, but he'll be fine.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
According to WAPA, Julio Reimer steps in on Saturday as interim chief executive officer. The authority did state that it is in the process of looking for an executive selection firm to search for Hodges' replacement. Many residents in the territory do not receive health care coverage. The medical assistance program provided by the Department of Human Services covers lower-income families, and government employees in the territory receive Cigna health care insurance. What happens to individuals who go to work and make too much money to qualify for MAP? There are almost close to no health insurance providers for residents in the territory. Here's more.
At the State of the Territory address, Governor Mapp spoke about several topics, including financial recovery, the development plans of a 4-star hotel, and vacant positions waiting to be filled. However, some members of the leadership team here in the territory expressed that expanding healthcare services is an important topic as well.
I was hoping to hear more about the proposed Medicaid expansion. We really just got a reference to it in the governor's presentation. And I think that's important for healthcare in the territory, particularly for the numbers of people who we have who are uninsured, and also people who are unable to afford healthcare.
The Department of Human Services does provide healthcare services to low-income families through their Medical Assistance Program, also known as MAP. The MAP program currently receives funding through Section 1323 of the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. ACA enabled U.S. territories to receive grant funding to fund government health programs like the United States Virgin Islands Medical Assistance Program. Unfortunately, the territory does not receive all the benefits other individuals residing in the mainland get. American territories such as the Virgin Islands are not governed by all the same tax regulations that occur on the mainland. Citizens of unincorporated territories do not pay federal income taxes, but instead our income taxes go to the government of our territory. And as such, we lose many of the benefits that could assist middle-class families.
And so we're looking at creative means to get Congress refocused and the White House refocused on Medicaid expansion.
Stephanie Brown, News 2.
Many United States airlines have been keeping a close eye on the Zika virus. Several airlines, as well as cruise lines, are offering waivers and ticket change services to customers, and especially to pregnant women traveling to infected areas with the Zika virus. American Airlines is allowing pregnant passengers to rebook without fees or request a full refund. Carnival Cruise Lines and its sister companies will also provide a no-fee rebook credit to pregnant women and their spouses. The United States Virgin Islands has been listed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention as an infected area. Governor Kenneth Mapp took care of some business the day before delivering the State of the Territory address. He approved some bills, including one that would repair the Horace Clark Ballpark in Frederiksted and another that determines safe occupancy of public buildings. But not all the bills on his desk got that nod of approval. News 2's April Knight has more.
Governor Kenneth Mapp acted on several bills right before the State of the Territory. He signed into law Bill number 31-0145, which will fund the first phase of a forensic crime lab. The governor said it would eliminate the practice of sending away evidence, which is costly and problematic. Mapp also signed a bill appropriating $100,000 to the VIPD for a quick access fund. The money will be used for protecting and transporting witnesses and paying rewards as required. The governor, however, vetoed the Community Reinvestment Fund bill that would have allowed the Senate to appropriate a total of $1.5 million to local nonprofits. The governor stated that Senate President Neville James had asked him to veto the bill and that some lawmakers had second thoughts.
Second thoughts, no. I think it was more about the timing. We actually passed the legislation to create the fund on the same day of the ArcLight agreement. So there was a misperception that it was connected to the ArcLight agreement when in fact it wasn't.
So even though lawmakers still believe in the merits of the Community Reinvestment Fund bill, they're held back by fears that the public might see it as a slush fund for senators. They now have a couple of options moving forward.
It'll be third party or miscellaneous section of the budget.
Since the main concern is public perception, one option is getting a third party involved in administering the funds.
That might come at a cost. Remember, we're trying to eliminate as much cost as possible.
In any case, the Senate's endgame, according to James, is to make sure nonprofits get the help they need. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
The governor also vetoed a measure reducing the size of the Casino Control Commission. He did approve a resolution petitioning the United States Congress to offer full care medical service to all veterans living within the territory. Turn our attention overseas. Donald Trump is stealing the headlines again, this time for what he's promising not to do, show up at this Thursday's Republican presidential debate. It's a risky move as the GOP frontrunner is battling for a win in Monday's Iowa caucuses. Scott McLean has the story.
I probably won't bother doing the debate.
Just days before Iowans vote, the clear Republican frontrunner hinting and his campaign confirming that he's skipping Thursday night's Republican debate, escalating a feud with Fox News that simmered for months.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs?
The network refusing to back down on Trump's call to replace moderator Megyn Kelly, saying a move like that violates all journalistic standards. Today, Trump fired another shot on Twitter saying, "I refuse to call Megyn Kelly a bimbo because that would not be politically correct. Instead, I will only call her a lightweight reporter." With the unpredictable billionaire out of the way, his GOP opponents will now have free rein to attack him on stage. But Trump is hoping to steal back some of the spotlight by hosting his own event at the same time.
They can't toy with me like they toy with everybody else. So let them have their debate, and let's see how they do with the ratings.
It's a big gamble, with Trump statistically tied with Texas Senator Ted Cruz in Iowa. But is it a brilliant move or a big mistake? The jury is still out.
I think it would be better for him to debate.
It's a master stroke before the Iowa caucuses.
Without Trump, Cruz will take center stage, but he still wants to meet Trump face to face.
I would like to invite Donald right now to engage in a one-on-one debate with me anytime between now and the Iowa caucuses.
For now, Fox News says Trump is still welcome on the main stage, and the network insists he will be treated fairly. In Washington, I'm Scott McLean.
Meanwhile, after the massive weekend blizzard, there was one thing in common on the Senate floor. Only female senators showed up for work. It appears all of the male senators took the day off. One senator praised her female colleagues for braving the conditions and showing up to work. Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the New York Stock Exchange with our Stock Market Watch. As we can see, everything down. The Dow down 222. NASDAQ also down 99. S&P 500 down 20. Coming up on News 2, students from various schools in the territory shared what Dr. Martin Luther King means to them in the Senate. And Senator Gittens honors the students. We'll have more. Welcome back. During the Committee on Rules and Judiciary meeting chaired by Senator Kenneth Gittens on Wednesday, Laurel Hewitt-Seward, who was appointed by Governor Mapp to serve as a member on the Virgin Islands Banking Board, was approved. Hewitt-Seward is a retired family and consumer sciences teacher. She is currently working as a part-time professor of inclusive early childhood education in the School of Education at the University of the Virgin Islands. She graduated from Nova Southeastern University with a Master of Science degree in Child Youth Care Administration. Hewitt-Seward said, "I will serve as a consumer advocate, encouraging banks to make loans available to local small businesses and offer mortgage loans and small loans to all segments of the community by complying with the Community Reinvestment Act." Students from various schools in the territory shared what Dr. Martin Luther King Day means to them in that same committee meeting. The speakers were Khalees Potter, student from the Virgin Islands Montessori School and Peter Gruber International Academy; Irvin Mason, student from All Saints Cathedral School; and J.R. Smith, student from the St. Thomas St. John Seventh-day Adventist School. Senator Gittens commended the students and parents.
The 8 students were chosen by their schools for possessing the qualities, values, and ideals of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As I sat among those in attendance last week and heard the speeches from each of the 8 honorees, I had a renewed sense of hope in our territory. Each student spoke with vision, purpose, and conviction. From that group of the 8, we were actually able to get 3 students to present during our committee hearing on Wednesday. And again, I was impressed by their poise, enthusiasm, and intelligence. Nobody had to coach them on what to say or how to answer these questions on gun violence, legalization of marijuana, or youth services.
Turn our attention to crime reports. On Thursday, January 21st at approximately 12:25 p.m., James Edwards Nibbs, 40, of Fortuna, was arrested and charged with second-degree arson. According to a police report, Nibbs walked into the police station and admitted to burning a vehicle in the Friedenhoy area that was discovered. Also on Saturday, January 23rd at 12:15 a.m., Hakeem Brooks, 35, of Contant, was arrested and charged with possession of an unlicensed firearm. Saturday, also Mario Emanuel, 38, of Contant, was arrested and charged with possession of an unlicensed firearm. And on Sunday, January 24th at 6:45 p.m., officers responded to the report of a third-degree burglary that occurred on the outskirts of Yacht Haven Grand. According to the report, the female victim had been walking in an easterly direction outside the Yacht Haven Grand when a black male approached her from behind and grabbed her backpack. As the man attempted to steal that backpack, he dragged her across the street and struck her once in the stomach. He then took the backpack and ran into the PMP housing community. On Sunday, January 21st at 3:32 a.m., Kareem Huggins, 29, of Contant, was arrested and charged with possession of an unlicensed firearm after he was stopped during a police initiative on Alton Adams Drive in the vicinity of the Illusions nightclub located in Barbell Plaza. Further investigation revealed that the firearm found in his possession had been taken from a police officer during an armed robbery that took place in 2009. Huggins was then additionally charged with robbery and possession of stolen property. Bail for Kareem Huggins was set at $120,000. Monday, January 25th at roughly 10:20 p.m., a 12-year-old minor was arrested and charged with first-degree aggravated rape after he was identified as the individual who performed inappropriate oral sexual contact with a female minor. No bail was set by order of the court, and he was released into the custody of his parents. The Antilles PTA Association will be hosting its annual International Day on Saturday, January 30th at 5:30 p.m. till 8 p.m. at the MCM Center. They say this is a wonderful family and community event that everyone can come out and enjoy. The international dinner will feature great food and drinks from several countries in the Caribbean, Indian, Middle Eastern, Mexican, Europe Eastern, Europe Asian, Italian, Puerto Rico, Spanish, French, American, Africa desserts. Additionally, students will entertain everyone with songs and dances relative to some of these countries. Also, they will hold a 50-50 raffle and a themed basket silent auction. Flights from Cape Air, JetBlue, American Airlines, and Ameriflight Airlines have arrived on time in the territory. Flights scheduled to arrive later this evening are currently on track, according to FlightView flight tracker. The Virgin Islands Port Authority provided information stating that there has not been any interruptions for American Airlines based on the storm and that flights will be operating on published schedules. Well, speaking of which, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.